Modern municipal infrastructure has a single point of failure. The entire operation relies on an external fiber optic line connecting the town to the global internet. When that line snaps, the system collapses. If that connection is severed or a remote cloud service drops, a cascading failure occurs locally. Digital civic operations halt, local medical scheduling fails, and municipal communications immediately go dark. The alternative to this dependency is island mode. This is a network architecture where a town operates a fully localized, self-sustaining digital ecosystem that requires no external internet connection to function. The Village Infrastructure Genesis package is the turnkey deployment of this concept. It provides the physical and digital architecture required to achieve off-grid municipal management. This deployment is engineered directly for mayors, town councils, and real estate developers who are constructing microtowns of 100 to 1,000 residents. The Genesis package requires a $49,999 capital investment. Fulfillment is hybrid, combining perpetual enterprise software licenses with a massive palletized hardware fleet shipped via LTL freight to the municipal receiving center. The system achieves isolation by pushing complex computation to the physical edge. Large language models, AI programs that understand and generate human text, along with OCR, or optical character recognition for reading scanned documents, and all database management, are processed entirely on local hardware. Digital sovereignty cannot be rented through software as a service. It requires hosting physical hardware on site to create an enclosed network external technology companies cannot monitor or disable. This diagram shows the starting point of the physical deployment. Installation begins inside the town hall with the digital nervous system. It is a high-capacity Sentry Pro cluster utilizing 3 nodes, each equipped with 64 gigabytes of RAM. This core hardware runs Proxmox and the Rios operating system. Together, they execute the DevOps Sovereign Agent, acting as the town's automated IT department. The first operation of this core system is minting the town's central root certificate authority. This cryptographic identity verifies every piece of hardware that will subsequently join the local network. Once the core is established, local electricians install the transmission layer. 12 Nomad mesh point routers are mounted across the village center. These routers cast a unified Wi-Fi 6E internet canopy over the town square, allowing devices to connect exactly as they would to standard public Wi-Fi. To guarantee uptime, the hardware includes a failsafe using LoRaWAN, a low-power, wide-area networking protocol that transmits data over long distances. Reticular engineers map these frequencies to the town's exact GPS coordinates prior to shipping. This entire massive network operates strictly internally. Data packets generated within the village never route outward to a traditional external internet service provider. If a resident makes a local voice-over IP call to a neighbor, the audio routing is handled entirely by the internal routing daemons on the central Sentry Pro cluster. In a standard cloud deployment, that local call data travels to a remote server farm, exposing metadata to third parties. On this mesh, the data never leaves the zip code. If a global cyber attack successfully takes down regional internet backbones, the town's internal communications and logistics operate flawlessly via the local mesh. The combination of the root certificate authority and a closed physical transmission loop establishes a secure boundary around the town's data. The Genesis package also includes a professional pillar, engineered specifically for local doctors and the town attorney. This diagram highlights the core networking challenge, securely running highly regulated patient and legal files across the exact same Wi-Fi mesh utilized by the public town square. The deep admin core resolves this by enforcing mathematically isolated subnets, or VLANs, virtual local area networks, over the shared physical routers. The deployment includes 3 sovereign Sentry Edge nodes plugged directly into the local clinics and law office. The central root CA generates distinct cryptographic identities for these professional nodes. As a result, devices on the public municipal network cannot query or even detect their existence. Inside the medical clinics, the nodes run heavily isolated Postgres databases, an advanced open-source relational database architecture to house sensitive patient records. The medical staff process patient dictation using a local instance of Whisper AI, a speech recognition model, and sort medical files using localized optical character recognition. Because all of this AI processing occurs directly on the edge node inside the clinic, with zero data leaving for a cloud server, the setup strictly enforces HIPAA compliance. The legal node operates under identical isolation. It relies on the sovereign executive agent to generate automated contracts and route localized, encrypted VoIP calls while preserving attorney-client privilege. Interclinic data contamination is prevented at the hardware level. Dr. A and Dr. B do not share a database. Each clinic has an independent sovereign sentry node running an isolated language model. If a malicious actor successfully breaches the public visitor kiosk on the town square, they cannot pivot that attack into the medical or legal subnets. By securing sensitive records using local mathematical encryption, rather than trusting a remote cloud provider's terms of service, the infrastructure guarantees municipal privacy. The network also extends into physical space through the hospitality and transit pillars. The public entry point is the municipal kiosk. This unit bundles a Sentry Pro terminal with a ruggedized outdoor touchscreen, acting as the town's continuous digital concierge. Visitors use the kiosk's local language model to book rooms at the Term Inn. The transaction processes locally over the mesh, keeping all booking revenue within the town and eliminating third-party software fees. If a visitor at the kiosk requests a ride to one of the local clinics, the kiosk initiates a transit request across the mesh. Local mechanics install Nomad fleet kits directly into the CAN bus ports, the internal vehicle communication network, of the village's electric shuttles. The kiosk pings the nearest shuttle, and an onboard AI agent called the industrial foreman takes control. It autonomously navigates the vehicle along geo-fenced village roads to pick up the visitor. This schematic details the physical security of these public devices. If an attacker physically pries open the kiosk to steal the local server, the system executes an automated defense protocol. The kiosk runs Vault Warden software. It monitors its own physical chassis using internal sensors and volumetric LiDAR, a system that uses light pulses to map physical breaches in 3 dimensions. Upon detecting a chassis breach, the system instantly wipes its local decryption keys to protect the rest of the town's network. The Genesis ecosystem processes local data, dispatches autonomous physical assets, and actively defends its own hardware from tampering. This visualization shows the network response as a town scales from 100 to 1,000 residents. The increased population heavily saturates the core mesh routing pathways. The core digital nervous system mitigates this bottleneck through elastic clustering. The town's IT director can dynamically assign additional CPU power and RAM directly to the network routing daemons inside the Proxmox environment. This hardware allocation is instant. The core infrastructure absorbs the higher traffic load without requiring the network to be taken offline. The Genesis package operates cryptographic multi-tenancy, localized edge computation, and autonomous transit hardware simultaneously. It replaces a fragile dependence on external cloud providers with a hardened, locally owned asset. When a town completely localizes its entire digital infrastructure, its wealth, data, and daily operations remain entirely sovereign.